Hi, I'm Alexis.
And I'm Paige, and we are in the process of completing our UBC Met e-portfolios for the capstone project in ETEC 590. And we're here to discuss our use of TPCK, sometimes known as TPAC, within our portfolios.
So, Technological Pedagogical Content Knowledge, or TPCK, is a theoretical lens we have used to reflect on our learning in MET, and we use it to explain how our artifacts have interconnecting themes. So, what is TPCK?
We get that question a lot, and TPCK was first created by Schulman, and it's pedagogical content knowledge. Mishra and Kohler took that model one step further to develop TPCK, which is basically just a unified approach to teaching with technology. TPCK is all about considering how the interactions among technology, content, and pedagogy influence learning and what we need to consider as designers.
So, a little bit about our backgrounds. I have an information design background, and this is why TPCK first resonated with me, is because TPCK focuses on technology as being used in unison with pedagogy and content. So, um, instead of relying on technology to problem solve, so instead of, when you first go to solve a problem or to create a design, you first go to technology to use the tools within that technology to present content and to strategize your pedagogy. You need to first learn how to problem solve and then implement technology where it is appropriate. So it's a similar way to how I learned to use technology within information design. Within information design, we never learned technology within our classrooms. We learned how to create effective designs, basically with pen and paper, and then we then would seek out technology that fit well with the context in which we were designing for. So TPCK and information designer sort of in unison in that way.
Well said, Alexis. So I first learned about PCK during a PD session a couple of years ago. So even though I had a BE Ed, I had never actually heard of the PCK model before, so this is totally new to me. And then when I began the MET program, I learned of TPCK, and finally found like I had a lens to actually consider how technology influences the learning environment and my application of designing with technology in mind. So I really wanted to emphasize that in my portfolio of how it's really transformed how I look at sort of everything that I now design for educational technology and instructional design. And just kind of looking, instead of just like Alexa said, instead of just looking at what the tool can do for you, looking at the environment, looking at the different interactions. How does content, pedagogy, and technology all influence that?
That's great, Paige. So another question that people might be wondering is, why is TPCK a good foundation for educational technologists? So beyond what we already discussed from our previous backgrounds prior to MET, another positive aspect of TPCK is that it's clear and direct, but it doesn't lack substance. So TPCK is very versatile, and this is actually one of the reasons I chose to use it in my e-portfolio, is because my e-portfolio is aimed at non-educators. So I wanted to use a theory that was simple to understand, but didn't limit me in the way that I presented my artifacts and reflections within my e-portfolio.
For sure. TPAC or TPCK is super flexible for any kind of environment. And that's sort of the other reason that we came up with for using TPCK as a good foundation for educational technologists, is that it's context driven. So it's applicable to any type of situation where learning and technology and design sort of intersect. And being context driven means that there's no perfect technological solution for all teachers or all solutions. So that's why it's really important for educators to understand their own context and their students, and how or if technology can be applied effectively. So TPCK is not actually new. As I mentioned before, it's been adapted over time into a unified theory or theme to reflect and apply knowledge in the learning environment.
Yeah, for sure, Paige. And actually, this is applicable to my e-portfolio, is I actually took TPCK and then reworked it again. So first it was PCK, then it was TPCK, and then I actually was inspired by Mishra and Kohler that conceptualized TPCK from Schulman's PCK model, and they argued that TPCK, and I'll quote here, can enable a more theoretical, robust way of designing, implementing, analyzing, and evaluating the use of information and communication technologies in education. So for my e-portfolio, I actually took TPCK and I reworked it into the themes of designing, implementing, and analyzing to sort my artifacts and reflections into. And what was really neat about using TPCK in this way is that I was able to see the overlap within my artifacts and reflections very clearly. So sometimes I would put an artifact under designing, but actually it could have fit under any of the categories, and I think that's the point we're trying to make in discussing TPCK, is that it's a unified theme and that often there is overlap between content, pedagogy, and technology.
Well said. Yeah, it's truly an integrative approach, which is why we find it so applicable, and we just love talking about it. And actually, a good example of TPCK in action is this podcast that Alexis and I are now doing, where we selected a technological medium to collaboratively reflect on both our experience of constructing our separate e-portfolios and understanding TPCK in our own context.
Yeah, exactly. And through our content and pedagogy of our e-portfolios, we deemed that this technology was suitable, this podcast was suitable for our reflection. So it displays effective TPCK in use, and it emphasizes that technology isn't to be forced, it is to work in unison with the content and pedagogy. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.